It's been a consequential week for reproductive rights in the United States. On Friday, Louisiana's Republican governor signed a bill that would add 2 abortion medications to the state's list of controlled dangerous substances. The bill makes possession of the abortion pills without a valid prescription or orders from a doctor a crime punishable by up to 5 years in prison. And in an interview with the CBS Pittsburgh affiliate, Donald Trump hinted that he might consider future restrictions on birth control.
Do you support any restrictions on a person's right to contraception?
Well, we're looking at that, and I'm going to have a policy on that very shortly. And I think it's something that you'll find interesting.
Trump later posted on social media that he'll never advocate for restricting birth control, but Democrats aren't buying that. Almost immediately after Trump's interview aired, Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer announced that he'll hold a Senate vote next month on the Right to Contraception Act, which would establish federal protections for all legal contraception. And looming on the horizon are upcoming decisions on 2 abortion-related cases before the Supreme Court. One case pertains to restricting access to the abortion pill mifepristone, and the other could determine whether ER doctors in Idaho are allowed to perform abortions on women in medical emergencies. Both decisions are expected to be handed down in June. Joining me now to unpack all of this is Minnie Timuraju, president of Reproductive Freedom for All. Minnie, as always, thank you very much for coming to the Sunday show. So let's talk about this new Louisiana law. After the governor signed it, he posted a statement on X saying, quote, "This bill protects women across Louisiana." Does it?
No. I mean, this bill makes an already impossible, oppressive state for women and families worse, right? Louisiana has one of the worst outcomes for maternal health already, one of the worst ecosystems of care and childcare in the country. And now they're going to try to lock women into the state and make it hard for them to leave the state, to make it hard for them to access medications that they should legally be able to access in other states, despite Louisiana's abortion ban. It's a wild case, but I think you're going to see more of this as the abortion, movement, as the abortion rights movement, reproductive freedom movement continues to have wins. You're going to see more and more extremist MAGA Republicans trying to restrict access even further.
So then let's talk about Majority Leader Schumer's plan to hold a vote on federal protections of contraception. Will the Right to Contraception Act even pass?
Yeah, I mean, we don't have, you know what, let me take a step back. I was going to say probably not, but you know what? Let's see if Republicans are being sincere. You have Donald Trump out there. I think you know what I think, but we have Donald Trump out there saying he's not going to limit contraception. You have Ted Cruz and Katie Britt even talking about support for IVF. Let's see what Chuck Schumer's doing, what Leader Schumer's doing is really smart. Right now, we're going to call your bluff. We're going to put a right to contraception bill and an IVF bill on the floor. Theoretically, they should have a shot at passing.
Yeah, and yet we saw the immigration bill go down, voted against by people who actually negotiated that.
But that's a great example. It's so important for voters to understand what we're dealing with, right? Republicans can go on Fox News all day. They can talk about what they plan to do and where they stand. But ultimately, we have to put them on the record. And that's the brilliance of this move. And that's why we are supportive and going to be campaigning around these 2 bills.
All right. So as we all know, there are initiatives going to be on the ballot all over the country in November. Not all of these ballot initiatives are the same, and not all of them would enshrine access to reproductive care. The ACLU of South Dakota says their state's proposed amendment, quote, "runs the risk of establishing a right to abortion in name only." Could you tell us what's going on here?
Yeah, I mean, I think that there's a lot of debate in the states about what can actually pass and what can be enforceable and what will actually provide relief to citizens. So as we dive into some of these state battles on abortion access in state referendums, you're going to see a really smart and important debate about how to move forward the ball. So in every case, every state, we have a slightly different set of situations. And I think the ACLU raises legitimate concerns.
Let me get you on one more thing, pulling out, the 35,000 foot level, because, we've got what's happening in Louisiana. We've got the ballot initiatives in November. But we also know that conservative groups like, Project 2025 and what they're doing over there have got their laser focused on abortion, including a proposal to ban abortion medication nationwide using the Comstock Act, which is it's like it's a 19th century law. Is it possible that they could actually do that?
Yes, absolutely. Look, we've seen...
And it's a federal law.
It's a federal law. So we already saw in Trump term 1 how much damage they were able to create without a lot of planning, right? They didn't think they were going to win. Now you've got the Heritage Foundation and all these orgs that have come together to create this Project 2025 blueprint. They know what they can do. Now, will it get caught up in court? Perhaps. Will Democrats be able to make an effort to repeal? They should. But... the fact of the matter is we've seen Donald Trump and MAGA extremists over and over again in office make good on their pledges to disregard the law and disregard the mores that the rest of us operate on in Washington, D.C. So we should be terrified. We should be very worried. And we should understand that Donald Trump saying he wouldn't sign a national abortion ban, and this is the important part, doesn't actually mean much when his allies and cronies, the folks who are going to put him back in office, have already decided how they're going to do it without Congress.
Enter the Comstock Act. Mini Timuraju, thank you very much, as always, for coming to the Sunday Show.